Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday, May 30th, 2021. What a week in cryptocurrencies. For those of you that had a lot of money invested in the cryptos, I know probably not many members of my audience do or did. But man, if you did, you really felt some pain this week. Especially if you bought, when it was at the $50,000, $60,000 mark. As I'm recording this today, I think we're at 34.9 last time I checked. Bitcoin was at 34,900 off of its all-time high of 65,000 a couple months ago. So, man, that thing has really plummeted. And for those of you that were heavily vested, my sincere condolences to you. Your mom called and said you can move back into the basement. Okay. Kidding. It's painful enough without some creep on YouTube making jokes about it. Before I get into the rant, guys, I would just, please, help me grow this channel, will you? Hit like and subscribe. That's all I ask. And maybe tell a friend or two. I'd appreciate it. Trying to grow the channel. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to have my wife, my lovely wife Rebecca, set the timer for 10 minutes because that's what I'm going to try to keep this little rant to today. Okay? Mm-hmm. Is the timer set?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, man, oh man, inflation is showing its ugly face everywhere, isn't it? But don't worry, kids, because according to Jerome Powell, it's just transitory. It's just transitory. It's just moving through. It's not here to stay. Okay? Meanwhile, we have, like Warren Buffett acknowledging that inflation is spiking. We have a lot of different entities and celebrities, economists that really don't agree. They don't think it's transitory. They think it's kind of here to stay for a while. It's going to stick around, and especially those economists that aren't on the government dole. So the ones that aren't being paid by the government have a different opinion about whether or not inflation is transitory. I know my family feels it. I watch our grocery bill go up every single week, and we're not increasing, our purchasing. Our purchasing has stayed relatively where we've always purchased. We haven't increased a bunch of items. We always, stockpile water and canned food, stuff like that. But we haven't increased our spending at the grocery store in terms of we're buying more goods. No, we're getting less goods and spending more money. So I know my family's felt that. And the whole way that the government calculates inflation is just, it's incredibly disingenuous. So they don't include like silly things that you use every day, like, fuel. That's not, they don't, fuel prices are up, that's not counted in the CPI. We don't use that to calculate inflation. Food cost, foodflation, no, we don't use that either. And guess what else they don't account for? Spiking home prices. No, that's not included in how they calibrate if inflation is going up. It's not included in the CPI. The consumer price index not included. Is that bizarre? Am I the only one in the room that thinks that's bizarre? And these people they're extremely underestimating exactly how much inflation we have. We just got this report that's like, ooh, inflation's at a 13-year high, blah, 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 blah. That is still a tap down number. That's not the real number. If you want the real number, you should go to Shadow Stats. Then you'll see the real number on inflation there. Speaking of groceries, look what happened here. Boom. Let's see if I can do this. Look what happened here. Costco. Costco is seeing inflation abound, impacting a slew of consumer goods. I could dive deeper into the article and show you what goods they're talking about. But, I mean, just here's a real quick example. Aluminum foil. And a 20% spike in meat prices over the past month. Dang. I don't want to be in a vegetarian world, but if meat prices keep spiking like this, I might have to consider more veggies, I guess. Well, wait a minute. Let me come to my senses now. There's hope, right? Because they just did trillions and trillions of dollars of spending and creating new money, right? Almost 25% of the world's currency was generated or created in the last year. So certainly they're going to tamp that down now. So that maybe it is going to be transitory, right? Like certainly they're going to stop spending now, because we're like over the hump, right? So we can stop with all the radical spending. No, that's not what was announced. Look here. What's in Biden's $6 trillion budget plan? What? Maybe this is an old article. Oh, updated May 28, 2021. Yikes. This guy is going to spend and spend and spend. So it really doesn't matter if we're already seeing inflation. This 6 trillion, am I reading that right? 6 trillion budget plan. Well, certainly, if we're going to keep spending at that rate, we must be producing a lot of goods, right? No. Guys, our debt to GDP is incredibly terrible. It's terrible. Our trade deficit is at all-time highs. We don't make anything. How are we going to we're going to save our economy based on service? I've been over this 100 times, and I know, I say it till I'm blue in the face, and some people reached out with, 2 weeks ago? I had 2 separate individuals talking about, you're kind of doom and gloom. Lowdown, you're just a little bit too doom and gloom. I'm not doom and gloom. I'm reading the news. This is what the news is, guys. These are facts. You can't. They may be inconvenient facts, but they're facts. Our trade deficit is at an all-time high. Our debt to GDP ratio is bonkers. Like we're beyond the threshold of being a banana republic. These are things that they're not. You can't dispute them. Some interesting things going on this week and in the coming months in precious metals. So I already mentioned how the cryptocurrencies crashed, and for the longest time there was this narrative that Bitcoin's the new gold. No, it never was, and it's certainly showing itself to be a speculative asset now, isn't it? So I don't hear all those loud little geeks from their basements yelling it's the new gold anymore. Those voices went away. So that's interesting to see that. The U.S. Mint announced this week they are no longer going to be accepting pre-orders on their silver products through the remainder of the year. Silver shortage, you think? And what's going to happen when that silver shortage starts to be realized. I mean, because right now people are just kind of, waking up to the fact that there's going to be a silver shortage, or there is a silver shortage. Right now, you're not seeing a whole lot of movement. I think I checked right before we started the show today, and it was, what, $28 an ounce, silver? Gold was at 1910. So I would really keep an eye on these precious metals within the next, couple months. There's going to be some big movement. That's my prediction. But over the next couple years, there's going to be really big movement because we're destroying our currency. That's what we're doing. We have a fiat currency. It's been 50 years, and that's 50 years is roughly what experts say is the lifespan of a fiat currency. We're there. We're at the 50-year mark. Thanks, Nixon. Great guy. Anyways, so you got a silver shortage coming up. Let's talk about Basel III real quick. Because here's the thing, it's hard to understand Basel III, and what is that? What was that? Is someone calling you? Oh. Huh. I like it. Okay. Apparently I'm at the 10-minute mark. Okay, so that's interesting. What was that at the start? That wasn't Jeopardy, was it? That's weird. Okay. Back to Basel III. So, I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, and it's a tough thing to understand. I did write down a few short notes to kind of help people understand, but it's coming. Basel III is coming. It's coming at the end of next month. And Basel III, like Basel I and Basel II, it came into existence after the financial crisis in 2008. And the motivation was that we were going to make the banks be a bit more stable, which makes sense. So let me just read off a couple notes about Basel III. And I hope you kind of come to an understanding about it, but I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. So it requires banks to have sufficient capital. Okay, now that sounds okay. That sounds like a good idea. Well, how are they going to do that? Well, they do it by way of something called NSFR, which stands for Net Stable Funding Ratio. Okay, in other words, derivatives must be backed by 85% of reserve funding. What happens to be involved with derivatives? The London Bullion Market Association. The London Bullion Market Association. Guess what that means? Gold. Bullion, gold. So banks are going to have 85% of everything they dish out. They're going to have something tangible to back up that loan. Now, this was supposed to go, Basel III was supposed to go into effect in 2018. They delayed it. So, why did they delay it? Well, they delayed it for a lot of different reasons, and it's been excuse after excuse. And then, of course, they used the health crisis as one of those excuses. But now here we are, we're coming up at the end of June. Hopefully there's no more excuses, and this could be a huge moment in history for gold. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens, what effects Basel III has on precious metals, specifically gold. It's going to be something to watch. hopefully you guys have a little bit of your portfolio in silver and gold, and you can profit from where things are headed, because we are destroying our currency, and that's terribly sad. So you should be diversified in your portfolio. Okay, enough of that. Let me see if I can bring it back to center here real quick. No. What are you laughing at me, love? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, could you imagine that though? 28 trillion plus 6 trillion more. Like, look at where we're at. I can't even like wrap my brain around it. Have you guys ever seen what $1 trillion looks like? It's absurd, the amount of debt. It's absurd that president after president, doesn't matter which party, they just continue this spending spree. There's no adults in the room. I've been saying this forever too. I feel like a broken record sometimes. But guys, get ready, because big things are happening. And I really feel like this health crisis just accelerated the bigger plan. And the bigger plan is they're going to destroy our currency. We're going to be begging for something different before it's over. We'll be begging for a different currency. We'll be begging for a digital currency. And then we're going to lose all the anonymity that comes with, cash. You're not going to be able to buy something online without the government knowing it. I don't mean to sound like an alarmist, guys, but this is a fact. This is what's going to happen. And they're telling you. Hey, listen, when I was a kid, if I think about it as a kid, how many times the guy that was running the Fed, okay, the guy that was in Jerome Powell's position, how many times he came in on the TV and made an announcement? Never. I didn't know who ran the Fed. I didn't know it in my teens. I didn't know it in my 20s. Why? Because these people weren't front and center. Why is Jerome Powell front and center? Why is he always doing news conferences now? Why? Because he's pushing a narrative. For the first time in our nation's history, we have the man that's leading the Fed making public statements about, we're going to do a digital currency. And he's making it all cutesy, like, we're going to send out surveys this summer and get some citizen input on it. It's no longer conspiracy theory stuff. Like, this is what's really happening. They're going to take away our dollars and they're going to give you a digital number. You're going to have ones and zeros. And it's going to be assigned to you, and they're going to know exactly what you're buying. And they're going to know your behaviors. They're going to know everything. Okay, but look on the bright side. Okay, you're probably not heavily vested in Bitcoin, so that's good, right? Like, I wish there was a way for me to articulate just how much. What are you laughing at? I'm going on too long? Oh, I know. I just, I like want to reach out to people, and I want to be like, hey, I want to take them and shake them and be like, hey, don't fall for this. Like, save yourself. Put some money into silver and gold. You can't even get silver right now, but you'll have to wait a couple months. But you should be doing this. I can't sound the alarm much louder, can I? Look, I love each and every one of you. Because if you made it this far through the video and you're still listening to me blow hard about what's going on, you definitely are my people. and I appreciate you. And I hope that everybody has a great week. Buy some silver, buy some gold. Basel III is going to be interesting, but really there's all kinds of pressure on the precious metals right now. And probably for the next couple of years, we're entering a huge bull market, and we're going to see things just go berserko. That's my humble opinion. I am not a financial advisor. I'm some goofball on YouTube that like took my STEMI check and bought a microphone and a camera. That's what I did. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Make smart choices until then, and build a little nest for yourselves. Buy some water this week. Buy some canned goods. And we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.